So, Josh, we are live.
Awesome. The from what also have a theory on the car at the CPS building.
All right.
If unless he literally the other night was talking, or back whenever you interviewed, I went to heading to work and my kids are sick, so I need to go be a good father. I need to go back to my kids, but then stops off at the trails to take pictures. That doesn't make any sense.
All right. Well, let's give everybody, let's kind of
Oh,
cue
go ahead.
them
Go
in
ahead.
onto what we're talking about here. So, we're not going to waste any time. I was talking with caller here, Josh. Can I give your name?
Yeah.
It's labeled here, Josh Chun. And Josh, he was calling in and you wanted to ask what, Josh?
Ask your thoughts on Julian Powell and how much weight you think that holds in this case.
I think it holds a lot of weight, man, honestly. But as far as getting anything accomplished with that, there's nothing else that I can do personally. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Um, but if you have any questions, I definitely have a lot of information about it.
Do you think it was a witness parked at the CPS building, or do you think it was bridge guy at the CPS building?
I'm not sure. I mean, you would think if they know that somebody was parked there and they haven't come forward, you think that that's a little suspicious. So you got to wonder either it's the suspect or somebody that's with the suspect, which would make them, I guess, a suspect as well.
Exactly. What do you think about a rental car?
Not sure.
I was looking at some Google Drive photos a little bit ago, and I seen something for a rental, and I was like, well, that would be pretty. Unless they've got a lot more. I mean, they never specified the actual vehicle, of course. Looking for the driver of a vehicle.
Yeah, because what good would a vehicle description be if it's a very common vehicle or a business, a very common, let's say like a delivery or termination business, something that's very common in that area. If you give that description, everybody's going to be like, oh, they're going to give everybody on every block in America has a Honda Civic. You know what I mean?
That's true. That is true.
So if you give a description of a white Honda Civic, now everybody in every block in America is suspicious of that one person. So I really don't know, but I know that rental cars have paper trails. You still there, Josh?
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Sorry, my phone went locked up on me. See, I don't know the surveillance in the area or anything, so I wouldn't know if I've heard that there's this big silo or something that caught one backed in, but of course I can't verify that. Has a car backed in hiding a license plate. And this one guy, I can't remember his name. He did like a 3-hour video on the Delphi thing. It was really good. He pulled some satellite photos from that day, and of course it's really grainy. You can't see it.
But it's whitish, right?
Yeah, it's whitish. I've even heard of a church van. So, but I figure even if it was a church van, Bobby was acting pretty weird today, said he wasn't feeling good. Oh, he drove the church van today. Okay. They said it's a church van. I get the whole Honda Civic thing, but if some people are in such denial of things, I mean, like, look, the Casey Anthony thing, for goodness sakes, the mom the mom is I can't think of her name, but Casey's mom, she was, it smells like a dead body back here. And
Mm-hmm.
then, comes the trial. Oh, I
Horrible
Googled
story.
that. Yeah. Like, I Googled that stuff, and the things that parents will do for their kids is crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have any of my own, but I heard I think on your show talk about you have kids, so I know that passion, love you have for your kids, that's a crazy thing, parents will do about anything for their kids, I'm sure.
It's an instinctual thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. um but yeah, it just seems like there's a lot of stuff, like the whole, worked at Subaru, and it looks like a Subaru jacket. Is it a Subaru jacket? I don't know, but you know I don't think that if you take the video out of it, you know what I mean, of him walking across the bridge, you know, because some people was like, well, why would he wear a Subaru jacket if, but I'm sure he didn't plan on being filmed.
True. Or
And
it's not a Subaru jacket.
yeah, that's true. I mean, and there's pictures of, of him wearing a blue jacket that looks pretty much identical to it, but that's all speculation. There's so much, speculation out there, or circumstantial evidence, that, I'd be afraid to take it to trial. But I mean, I just want to know what that one piece is.
I think that one piece it's somebody pointing a finger in the courtroom, like, hey, that's him right there. That's the guy. Um, Kind of like let's say Keegan Klein's like, yeah, that's the guy right there. He had access to my phone and he told me that he was going down there to do such and such. And then when he came back, he was covered in blood.
Right. Right. Now, if let's just say that neighbor, I know you said isn't related, but if they were related, that would be, I guess, maybe a meetup spot, perhaps. Since he was there
Wait,
at the
what do
guy.
you mean? You say neighbor?
Yeah, the
What
the
neighbor?
my bad, the friend three we was talking about earlier.
You mean friend one, who is the neighbor to uh, Tony Klein?
No, 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 no. Friend three that lives near his grandparents.
Oh,
Uh,
Country Club Road.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's like, then we got talking about the relative. It's not actually the relative. Um,
Well, I don't know if it's a relative. I couldn't verify it, but just because somebody has the same last name, you don't want to just assume that they're a relative.
yeah, that's true. You're right. You're right about that. And that could be me having blinders on. And I've tried to be open, because I know blinders can, you know, mess up a case if you're just gunning for somebody, and then
Well, it's okay to
missing
have
stuff.
your blinders on, but just make sure that your window, the rest of the windows aren't all fogged up. You
You're
know
right.
what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. I guess the way I looked at it is like, what are the odds? Once I seen that pop up, I was like, huh, that fits there too. And then all this,
So interesting.
yeah,
Trust me, I'm there with you. It's just like there's nothing else I can do. It's like there's nothing else you can do with that person. Um, I know that Carroll County got involved. I know that Indiana State Police were involved. Took them about a week, but eventually they communicated about the matter and they handled it. So if there's any interest in this person and they're looking at him, that's it.
yeah. No, I know um, I don't think it was, on your podcast, I think it was on a different one, but he was talking about going for the polygraph on the 5th year anniversary.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
That's very to me that's telling. I mean that could be, oh, it just happened to fall on that day, but I feel like, you
Yeah,
know,
that was Fallon Dead Academy podcast.
right, okay, right. Um, that's, to me that I don't that could just be, oh, it just happened to fall on this day, but I know that, certain, I guess certain people that do these crimes like to reminisce on, and they change.
I lost you. Lost your audio.
Sorry about that. I got you. My phone, I guess it you got that to swipe up and put my pin in and stuff again. But anyway, um, that certain time of the year that, certain people, if they do something like that, they start reliving it and whatnot and start acting different. So I feel like that was like a strategic, we're going to bring him in and talk to him, and, maybe because is that the how many times do you know how many times he's been polygraphed?
I know one for a fact, but I
Okay.
know he was interviewed twice.
Okay. Yeah, the what is it, Dan? Uh, I can't think of his first name, but that Mesa guy. Um, I think that's his name. He gave out like the first profile, I think, during that, like, the first press conference.
Oh, are you talking about the FBI agent that likes to wear that green tie?
Yeah, I think that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
Um,
what you're talking about.
yeah, he was giving out a profile, and it fits to a T as far as from what I can tell. I mean, I don't know him,
Hmm.
personally or whatnot, but
Well, those
um,
are the very things that were the reasons I was interested. So the reasons that you're stating,
hmm
or I wasn't just skeptical, I was listening to the FBI. You know what I mean?
hmm and going back and and looking at press conferences, and I ain't gonna lie, for a good bit, I was like, man, something, and I don't know what it is, but I know Shane Evans must say it's some bad Taco Bell or something, because Shane's in the background sweating and gulping profusely in that 2017 presser and giving off. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but uh, it
Yeah, but let's put it into perspective. We're talking about a very young, successful new mayor
yeah,
on the same stage with these seasoned professionals who aren't handling it well themselves.
that's true. That's true, and that very well could be it. Um, but seeing, I mean, that's a whole different kind of pressure. I could see if he was about to talk or something. Um, maybe he was planned to and didn't, because of just they was like he was freaking out and was like, "Yo, just sit back here and chill." Um,
Oh, like he had cold feet.
yeah, he had something, he had something going on, and um, but and it is odd because like he gave like a news interview, and he seems like he's a good speaker. Whenever you see him on he was sitting there talking, um, and I had like a voice comparison thing on my YouTube or whatnot of him. He's sitting there just talking
Yeah,
casual
but
on the
he's
news.
not really like a prosecutor or law enforcement though, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
It's almost like not his place, even though he has privilege to that information, it's kind of like not really his place to speak, you know. He's
right,
just there to
right,
show his support, like I'm representing Delphi, you know.
yeah,
That's why I'm here. I'm the representation.
exactly. And the fact that he um attend all these meetings and stuff, about the case and other cases and stuff like that, and certain suspects or whatnot, or certain um certain suspects of they like to put themselves into the scene, you know, see what's going on.
Inject themselves into
Yes, yeah,
exactly.
that's
There's a
the
lot
word.
of that going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is, and shoot, I was I was listening to some of these some of the profiles from for the case, and it was like someone that's studies the case more than and I'm like, well, daggone, like what I'm saying, I'm over here feeling guilty and stuff because I'm like, I'm trying to find this person, and some of the stuff they're listing off, I'm like, Jesus, what I'm saying, like I ain't, I'm just
Mhm.
trying to catch them, uh, but yeah, and maybe it's just an Indiana thing, but to me it sounds like the um, voice kind of lined up a little bit, um, and but not only him sweating profusely and swallowing and eyes rapid movement whenever the voice is playing when they play the down the hill thing, he's like looking
Mhm.
around darting and stuff, and then you know Doug Carter at the 2019 he keeps glaring over there in Shane's area. Now, whether or not he's glaring at Shane or not, I don't know. But he keeps every few seconds he'll dart his eyes over there and hold it for a split second. And so I'm like, man, is he? Maybe he, because mayors have a lot of pull. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
And
guarantee he most likely seen the video
yeah,
and the crime scene photos.
yeah, and that'll mess somebody up definitely.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he hasn't.
He and then the walk as well, even though it's and that's another thing that makes me feel like that they know who it is because watch his mannerisms, watch and pay attention to how he walks, but his walk is different because of the space in between the ties. Pay attention to his mannerisms, and in a what's it
Well,
one point.
some people don't have common sense. Like they
Yeah,
don't, but they're not going to think about that. They're
right,
going to be like, "Man, look how weird this guy's walking."
right,
And
right.
they need somebody to hold their hand and be like, "Look, this is what's going on. Look, he's walking on this old abandoned railroad and he's not going to be walking naturally. So picture the person that you might think it is. If they were walking like that on this old beat up bridge, would they be walking similar to this?"
Exactly. And only in a one, what is it, 1.8 seconds, 1.5, the video clip, it's not long.
48 seconds, I believe. 43 seconds, I'm sorry.
No, I mean the amount that we get to see, like
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's so I'm like, what mannerisms could I pick up on in that amount of time,
None. None at
and
all.
then he's like, maybe it's his genes, and of course, Mr. Powell, I've seen these pictures where he's wearing, and obviously you could say, oh, well, that's, everybody wears blue jeans, you know, um, it's
He
a
gave
certain,
DNA. He gave DNA twice and blood once.
but if that DNA is tainted, though, couldn't that make it not?
Why take it?
That's true. That is true. Um,
Just as a maybe as a
in case the testing develops even more so.
just just to have it, I guess. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe it's just something. Maybe it's textbook. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if I suspected somebody of and I'll get that DNA sample, so maybe next time, if there's a next time, hopefully there's not, then if they mess up more so and leave more DNA that's not tainted, you got it. Now it ain't, oh, we've got DNA, we just don't have nothing to match it to. Oh, we've got DNA and we've got matches here.
Well, my only question in regards to the whole Anthony shots and how Julian might fit in is Doug Carter says in 2019 the killer could be in this room.
Mm-hmm.
So how can the killer be in that room and be connected to Keegan Klein at the same time?
That's true. Um, I think, I think he, I think honestly, when they started playing that clip, they went into the back and kind of was looking through, you know, uh, they probably had cameras in there looking at the whole scene of everyone that was there. Um, and
And
maybe at that
why?
time,
If
sorry, say again.
and why would they be doing that? They have they have the Anthony Shots information.
Mm,
They have their suspect who they let go,
mm,
who hopefully was under surveillance. I don't know. He's living in Las Vegas now,
mm-hmm.
potentially with a potential killer. We don't know.
Right.
Um, so why make the statement and show a younger sketch and say, "Hey, well, this dude could be in this room right now," knowing that their best suspect is somebody connected to Kagan Klein. Why make that statement knowing about Anthony Shots?
I'm not sure. I don't know if I know he said he may or may not be in this room. I think because something's telling me that either because I don't know how long the poking the bear has been going on. Far as I think like in like a month after the crime, I think he made like a tweet or something that said you know uh talking about like phone towers or something like that, I believe, like a taunting kind of deal. Maybe there
Mhm.
was something left at the scene to make them say oh because Doug keeps mentioning like, oh, he's watching. It's like a he knows this guy is following it really close. And like, how would you know if somebody's following the case really close? And like, oh, he's watching, we'll see him soon. you know like, I don't think you could get all that. And he may be blowing smoke, I don't know. But how could you get all that from, unless there was something taunting left at the scene, maybe?
Mhm. I mean, maybe he left. I hear a lot of talk about like bleach or something
Mm-hmm.
along those lines. So I'm not saying that's true, or I'm not trying to put weight on that theory or anything, but I'm just wondering if there was something along those lines, that could explain a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could make, what little DNA you have. Um, maybe I don't know. Maybe each person they think that it's a good sample, maybe, or a decent sample. And I'm gonna guess the more you test it, the less, um, depending on, I guess, on how much you have of it, it breaks down the
Well,
sample, I would guess.
Kim Riley said to Michael Catt, he said it's like this person had never committed a crime before. So to me, that says they got a full DNA profile.
Hmm,
They have a full sample. How else could you make that statement?
that's true. Hmm. I could say, yeah, I would say that, or maybe it didn't look like they knew what they were doing, as far as it, maybe from the bridge down to where they were found, maybe it was like, you know uh you could tell that the person really didn't have an idea what they were doing, they were just going with it, type of deal. Like, um like, I guess, let's say, if someone, I guess, like, if it would be like a serial killer or something like that, and they're used to it and whatnot, they would know, you know they would have more experience doing that, so they would be more comfortable, rather.
Hmm.
um and maybe things just got messy, and you can tell, like, maybe like a struggle, which I still don't understand that in the Ron Logan uh affidavit, that what, no signs of a struggle, I think that's what it said.
Yeah, no fight, no struggle.
Yeah, like I mean, would someone be um like chloroformed or something? Like
Hmm.
I don't see two people just standing there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, Libby's shoe was found,
mm-hmm,
so she was without her shoe, and that's actually how they located the bodies.
right?
So to me, that's already a sign of a struggle, is it not?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm losing you again, Josh.
Sorry about that, man. Um, and who knows? Some people, you know, like for instance, like I've wore shoes before where you kind of um don't really tie them right. You know what I'm saying? You just kind of tuck your
Hmm.
laces in or whatnot, and
Yeah.
make them fit sort of loose. So maybe if you're going down crazy terrains or whatnot that you're not really expecting to, you're expecting just to like walk, walk on flat surfaces, walk across the bridge, take some pictures, go home. Maybe hitting some rough terrains or something like that, losing your footing, make you come up out of your shoe. Just speculating, just chucking it out there. It
Okay.
could very well be running plumb out your shoes.
Or stuck in the mud. Hey,
Yeah.
real quick, Josh, do you want to
Yep.
hang out while I play? I'm just going to play about 3 short videos. Do you want to hang out while I do that?
Yeah. That's fine.
Okay. All right. Give me a moment here.
All right.
Quickly in that community, walking around that small city there, you may run into a relative or a friend. Businesses consider customers more like family, and they're all coming together right now in a big way. Here's Mike Pelton.
The signs of support need no last names in a small city where
everybody knows everybody.
Tracy Martin owns Pizza King, which is serving up a fundraiser next Friday to raise money for the families of Abby Williams and Libby German.
We are a very close-knit, small community, so this hits very hard, and even though it's a family that doesn't deserve this, it could be anybody.
Windows and Walls now host flyers of ways to help the families of the two teens. It's a lot to take on for a city known for beautiful trails, not double murders.
I hope they catch the perpetrators, whomever involved in this.
What if they never catch them?
That would be bad.
At Hometown Shirts and Graphics,
that somebody would do this to two young girls it's just kind of don't know what to say.
Owner Mark Mendel is set to sell these T-shirts in honor of Libby and Abby, with the money going to their families.
You let law enforcement do their job, and then our job is to do whatever we can do to help people move on with this, and that's the best way to do it.
That benefit ride is set for 12:30 tomorrow, starting near Main Street. Visitation for the two girls is tomorrow from 4 to 8 at Delphi High School. A lantern release will follow the visitation. And Libby's funeral is set for Sunday. It's a private family service at 2 o'clock at Delphi United Methodist Church.
A lot of people, of course, the big question tonight, how they can help in this process. Now, police need your help right now, still identifying this man seen near where the girls' bodies were found. If you have any information, and you can remain anonymous, you're being asked to call the tip line to help out. Police want you to continue to call that tip line with any information about the girl's death. There's the number on your screen right now, 844-459-5786.
So that was some of the early reporting.
It's interesting. Yeah, I just it bothers me, like the fact that like the face, every frame it morphs into something, you know what I'm saying? It goes from looking as like this old guy, and then he's walking, and then like the way he hikes up his leg, you can tell, oh, okay, like that's not a whole leg filling out the jeans, like he looks a lot slimmer. And I just then, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to target Kelsey or anything like that, but apparently there's all these kids there, and her age, or I think she said her age, I don't know if she meant Libby or her age, And then I think she went back on that and said something different. But
Well,
apparently all these people were there, and then the flannel shirt guy's just chilling there at the, oh, hey.
Kelsey and Libby are close in age. They're only 2 years apart.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's right. She was 16 when that, yeah.
Yeah, so she was like basically like a little kid too.
Yeah. And so, yeah, like where like all these people that are there, I'm trying to figure out, because I feel like he was under the bridge, perhaps not like all the way down, where the water is, but when you first go onto the bridge, that little, I don't know what it's called, scouting, because there's a picture that was one of Mr. Powell's pictures where he's sitting underneath that bridge area that I'm talking about.
On the north side?
I believe the opposite side, or what, whichever, the girls were.
The picture he took under the bridge is not on the south side where the girls went down the hill.
Yeah, it's the opposite side. Yeah, facing where they. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that when you first walk on the bridge, underneath that part,
Yep.
And the trees, they're not. You can see through them pretty easily. You can see around or whatnot from what that picture showed, anyways. So like you could look over that way and see if anybody's coming, I would feel like. And then you can hear up top of you, people walking and talking, going across the bridge. You can look over there and see there's nobody over that way. You hop up and hurry up and get over there. But yeah, that's the only. And if he went there, I feel like he had to maybe have been there for a little while, maybe before a lot of people got there, because I just don't. If there really was like 20 or so people, I don't see him getting to the Freedom Bridge and walking across and walking through, and
Well, there's
not
talks of
sticking out.
the witnesses who apparently there are some witnesses. Now, I don't know how true this is, but from what I hear, there were witnesses that saw the suspect coming and going near the Freedom Bridge. So, if he's there, and maybe those are the people that were able to verify, that was the driver that was walking towards a vehicle that we could see from. Maybe they couldn't describe the vehicle. Maybe they were seeing it from the Freedom Bridge and they were watching the suspect walk towards that vehicle. So if they're able to actually witness him, then that means that either the witnesses were underage, first and foremost.
Yeah.
And that's why we don't hear a lot about it. Or this person has already been cleared, potentially.
My only thing is walking back that way is you're gonna be. I mean, like, it's not you're not gonna look pristine. You know what I'm saying? After all that, I would feel like, anyway. I would try to go through the path of the least people. Like, maybe I know you can walk up to where the cemetery is, and like right beside of whichever trail leads you straight to the bridge. There's the other trail that kind of goes around down to the river area, I think. But there's but yeah, I was just trying to think of where, because after a crime like that, I wouldn't want to be walking around, walking around people, because I feel like they could clearly see something happened.
Unless you're cocky.
Yeah. Yeah, either that or they just don't care. Not like arrogant don't care, but like not I guess not self-conscious about it.
And I know why you brought up the rental car.
Why's that?
It's like it's just because I know I have all the information on that dude. You know what I mean? So I
You're
know
right.
so I know about the rental car and all that information. My only question is, and this is the same question I have for myself, is why be interested in this person if law enforcement has taken an interest in them, actually took the time to interview them and actually interview people that were close to him,
Hmm.
uh, polygraph, all this stuff. Do you think it's possible for law enforcement to overlook, even though all those steps have been taken?
Absolutely. And
Yikes.
I think I think I think honestly the 2019 press conference was proof of that, because we're over here, they have this older man sketch, and then we're just now beginning, we're
Well, it
just
did
now
break my
beginning.
heart because prior to that, they did a lot of news media where families and whole neighborhoods would get together and they would spend 8-hour days putting up flyers and donating to these billboards of this older person sketch, only to find out that it's secondary. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And honestly, I feel like Keegan would be the perfect scapegoat. Like, it's the perfect scapegoat. I mean, just imagine you want to do a crime, and you find out that this person that you know or may not know, that's the connection I'm looking for. I'm trying to find more of a connection just besides the neighbor. Um,
Yeah,
and
you could
then
be in a room. You could be sitting in a room doing drugs and saying, "Hey, um, like I'm cat. Look at what I'm doing. I'm catfishing these girls. Oh, you guys want to see some girls?" And then you show it to the wrong scumbag, and that scumbag's like, "Oh, who's that?"
yeah, yeah, and and not to mention, if you're trying to do a crime and then you find out, like, unless you're involved in it too, like, this dude is a pedophile, you know, like, it's the perfect scapegoat. You pick,
He's
you
a
know what I'm saying?
patsy.
If you yeah, if I mean, I don't know exactly if it's easy or not. I've heard people say, and that might just be because they're real tech savvy, but cloning a phone, like, making the IP address thing. um
Well, you don't need to clone a phone if you take somebody's phone.
oh
There was
yeah.
a lot, according to the transcript of Keegan Klein's interview, there's a
Hmm.
lot of activity going on with both of his phones. So he's logging in and out of the Anthony Shots profile early at 8 a.m. Eastern time. And then one of his phones also going over there to Country Club Road.
Right.
So who knows if Keegan Klein's even awake at this time?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And with the if you messing with the IP address, you can be one place, but the phone's reading over here.
And not to mention, Kelsey recently mentioned that somebody, I'm assuming it was a family member, or close friend who had hacked one of Libby's social media accounts.
Hmm.
So to me, that doesn't look suspicious like on Kelsey's part.
Yeah.
What it reads to me is that it was extremely easy to hack that account.
Right.
So if that played any kind of role, um, it's obvious that it was easy to do that.
Yeah. Definitely. And even though Keegan sounds like he's like the worst liar in the world, like when he's like, I don't know, like, I mean, to me, he clearly, you know, but certain things he can just sit there and name everything about it, and they call him on it. They're like, oh, but you remember that? Like, either Keegan is really just, you know, dumb
No,
as,
he's smart. If you read that transcript, what he says is they go, "You remember when we interviewed you when this first happened?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You remember you tried to lie?" Excuse me. And he's like, "Yeah, yeah." He's all, "But you laid out all the photos. You put all the information. You put all the evidence out here in front of me, and then I admitted to it." He's like, "Of course I did." So until they lay out all the information on how he could possibly be connected to the actual murders, he's not going to say a goddamn word.
Yeah.
He's already admitted that. He already admitted in that interview transcript, "I don't talk unless you can prove that I'm already guilty." common sense.
I don't know how he keeps getting continuances.
It's just legal mumbo jumbo. Nothing's coming from him. There's no reason. He's only going to face 30 years in prison. No reason to talk. They didn't make a good deal with him, or maybe their egos are getting in the way. But yeah, without new information, he's going to get about 30 years, probably with time spent.
Yeah. I just and also, by the way, like the 2019 presser, when they released the new sketch, apparently they give out a sheet, or they give out a transcript for what Doug is going to say, or what everybody's going to say, that way they can ask questions about it. And he changes the wording of some stuff. And apparently one of the things that he was supposed to say is that you messed up, a witness seen you. So the whole point in the finger thing, if that's true, a witness did, see that.
Yeah, but when did this happen? Because we know that they pivoted in 2019, April 22nd. Well, actually, it was April 18th at some point. But they announced it April 22nd of 2019 that they were going to go in a complete different direction.
Yeah, so that press conference, that's the one where in the transcript of it that they gave out to the press to ask questions. That's the one where he says, you messed up, a witness seen you. And I think there's speculation on I can't think of his name. I know it's the guy blowing the horn or something.
Brad Heath.
Yeah, like some people, like, I think he was said he was working in the area that day. And
he was.
I was thinking maybe he was, I don't know, like spraying around the cemetery or somewhere, and then you just see somebody pop up out the woods and go walking around, and or maybe he's seen the car at the CPS building.
Well, there's mention too at the same time of a hitchhiker. So I'm wondering if Brad Heath maybe saw somebody that was carrying a bag. Because if you saw somebody walking, you wouldn't be like, hey, that's a hitchhiker. But if you saw somebody walking and they had a bag around their shoulder, a large, maybe duffel type bag,
right,
maybe that would constitute a hitchhiker. So I'm wondering if maybe Brad Heath saw that. And then they were like, well, maybe that's our driver of this vehicle. And then maybe there was another sighting between the Freedom Bridge and the CPS building. And maybe they're not even sure if this person's tied to the vehicle.
Yeah, it's definitely, I bet it would be, if we had all the info, because I feel like we know a sliver compared to what all they have. I wonder.
Well, they don't clarify anything. Like, we have all this information that we're talking about. They probably don't even discuss half of it anymore. They're like, oh, well, we already figured that out. But they're not telling the public. They're not doing any new pressers. They're not clarifying really, because a lot of the verbiage they used early on was really confusing. I mean, you got people still talking about the CPS building and what the hell was abandoned. You know what I mean? Like, it's strange. Can't hear you, Josh.
Yeah, some of the wording is strange. And I'm gonna sum it up to the fact, I guess, that they haven't, had anything, I guess, this magnitude before. But there's a lot of weird stuff that there's a lot of weird stuff going on there. Like, I think I read like the last double homicide, I believe, was a relative of Becky Patty, I believe, like her uncle or something, or maybe her uncle,
like a crime of passion or something, right?
Yeah, and everybody, it's a small place, so everybody's about connected. So as soon as you're connecting people, like, oh, okay, there's a connection here, and then you realize, like, well, daggone, everybody's connected.
Small town USA is what they call it.
Yes. And I, yeah, I think that my thing, I think, just me personally, I believe that they thought it was Keegan, and then eventually they discovered that, oh, he's not someone else is doing, because I don't know how long they knew about. I know that 2020 interview came out.
Well, yeah, the interview transcript that came out, they said, we don't think that you did this. So people that hold that transcript as gospel and still
Yeah.
think that Keegan Klein is the actual person,
Mhm.
you can't omit that part. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And but I know, like, at first I feel like, because they raided they came to his house and were going through all of this stuff, and then I feel like they eventually found out that, okay, like, someone else was using this account. And then the way the sketch is, man, sometimes I look at that sketch and I'm like, that looks like the daggone catfish guy. Like, not like the pictures that they used for the cat, so, like, I'm like, well, the sketch looks like that dude. I know it's not him, but, like, so, and then there's a lot of people that do look like the sketch,
It's from a witness, apparently.
yeah.
The young sketch, right?
There is a license photo that looks pretty, about spot on. I think the only thing that isn't about accurate is the nose.
Yeah, and I don't ever stop thinking about that. I just want you to know that, Josh. There's just nothing else that I can do about it, honestly.
Oh yeah, I get that. And I'll talk with friends, family, or whatnot, and they're just like, oh, okay, cool. Well, did you watch the game? And I'm like, what? Like, so nobody really cares about it, like, like I do. And I'm just like, well, daggone, I guess people look at me funny and stuff, and what do you? Oh, I'm trying to solve this case. And I'm like, what? But and I don't have any resources or anything like that, and so literally I'm just looking around and trying to find what I can find and go from there. But I appreciate your time, though. And
yeah, great call, Josh. And like I said, I haven't stopped thinking about those things. There's just absolutely, I'm the type of guy, if I'm helpless to something and my hands are completely tied,
right,
I can accept that. But I'm still interested. I still talk about it behind the scenes, and I'm happy to talk about it with anybody that calls in with those kinds of questions, honestly.
right, and yeah, I had fun. I'm still gonna keep digging, though. I'm gonna keep digging, and
Well, something new. That's what it was with me. Maybe this person was already being looked at, and the only reason that they were interested in what I had to say was because something new came from a conversation that I had.
exactly.
So yeah, if you can find something new, I think that's what it's all about.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna keep digging then, and I will try my hardest to find it, because I've made a promise. That even though I don't know this family, I don't know these girls, something about it, it just it touches me. And even though I may not be the actual one to to do it, I feel like I'm at least trying to contribute, and I would want everybody in the world helping me if it was me, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And
That's the point right there.
yeah, and it definitely gives me purpose, you know what I'm saying?
Do something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't do nothing. Do something.
Do something. Absolutely. But and who knows, maybe like you said, you've exhausted all the things you can find, but maybe it's that one piece that we're looking for, but hopefully we'll find it soon, because it just every year that rolls around, I'm like, man, dude, like I can't believe it. And uh, it's really sad.
Because it shouldn't happen. I mean, it really could have been anybody.
Yeah, yeah, and
Whether it was targeted and pre-planned and all that, and whether it was spur of the moment, either way, it though that could have been anybody's their daughter's best friend. Um, Parents know what it's like. Hey, can I have my friend sleep over? Okay, well, let me see your grades and did you do your chores? Okay, everything's good. Friend comes over. You're not thinking that they're going to be murdered in uh, the historic trail, a few miles up the street that they go to often.
right.
That's not fair.
Yeah, yeah. You never know, and I'm a true crime fanatic, I guess you would say. So like there's stuff that certain people like fiance took a trip one time and she told me that she stopped at a rest area at like 4 a.m, and I was like, oh my god, I'm like, never do that again. Not
Ever.
ever. Yeah, like I mean, and I'm not sitting around living in fear or anything like that, but I'm just like, I would never, like, even if I had my weapon with me, I still wouldn't stop there. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd pee myself if I had to, but and she's like, oh, it ain't nothing. I had my phone, and I'm like, well, a phone ain't gonna stop anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, I had my keys, like, I could have, and I'm like, no, that don't work. I mean, it could, but
Yeah, I want you ladies to understand we're not mansplaining.
oh yeah,
What Because grown men could go into the same situation and they could be sexually assaulted. Like this is a safety issue.
absolutely, absolutely, and it's more or less like, if let's just say I was gonna buy something on Craigslist, and or my buddy's gonna buy something on Craigslist, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to this place and buy it, and I'm like, I'll ride with you, or something. Like, I'm not just gonna let him go by himself. Just not saying that the person's gonna do anything, but you never know. You don't know who it is, just on the off chance.
Well,
Like,
automatically when I hear Craigslist, I'm like who do you want me to give your stuff to?
yeah, right, right,
Did you say Craigslist? Okay. Who does your money go to? Your kids, your
right.
wife? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, like never, like like I said, I'm not living in fear, but I don't always assume, a thump is a car door of the neighbor or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, or,
Mhm.
if I hear something, what I'm saying, I'm gonna check it out, but, I try not to put myself in situations that could be bad. And, you never
Proactive.
know when that will be, you know what I'm saying? So just always got to keep an eye out for that. And, no rest areas after after
Yeah,
this.
ladies, don't go to any rest areas. Go to like a gas station, and then even at a gas station, you're not safe.
Yeah, yeah, like and even at the rest, I wouldn't even go to a rest area. I'm a pretty big dude, like, forget that. But
Well, I go to a rest area, but I always have my peacemaker.
oh yeah, oh yeah, I like that peacemaker. uh but yeah, um yeah, it's a sad case. And um just as many people are involved in this thing, I still can't believe it hasn't been solved yet. And I feel like I feel like a family member or someone is just in denial or scared, perhaps.
You think
um
it's that simple?
it might be, um
Only something this complicated could be something so simple in the end. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, and it might. I mean, who knows? Like, what if it pops up and it's like, oh, it was Brian Chadwell after long, or after all. And I'm like, well, you know what I'm saying? Like, what if it's like one of the first POIs somehow? I mean, not saying that it is, but it's probably right under our noses, and or it may not be. It may be you know, it may be.
I was talking with somebody about this very situation. I think it might have been Deb or Adam over at It's a Crime and Shame. I can't remember. Somebody along those lines, but we were talking, it really wouldn't matter if everybody was wrong or if everybody was right, because in order to know those things, that means that it's been solved.
Right. Exactly. And that's what's most important. And, you know, I'm gonna let you go in a sec.
Sure.
I'm sure there's more people. And you know, I follow a bunch of different, you know, people that talk about the case, and you know, I know there's a lot of beef and stuff going on with, you know, and I'm just like, you know, it used to just be about the case, you know, and I want, like, I tune in to hear more info, and I'll tune in and listen, but most of the time when it's about like so and so called me ugly and da da da, like, you know, like I don't like that stuff, man. I'm just like, dude, like I don't care, like, and I care, but I don't care, and maybe it's just me. Like if somebody was talking about me, just like I'm sure people's probably gonna be talking about my country accent.
Yeah, you got a country ass accent, Josh.
It's pretty thick. I'm about to throw a dip in right now.
Yeah. Speaking of dip,
Here we go. Dip 30.
good call.
But you know, at the end of the day,
it's my last one.
Oh no.
The wife's out though.
There you go. Get it while you can. But yeah, as long as it gets solved, like I could sit here and make, you know, spend a whole year saying it's somebody and then it not be that person, and then, you know, it's solved. Like at the end of the day, like that's all I care about. And you know, I feel like it's just a lot of, like, sometimes I'll tune in for like a Delphi thing and it turns into just literally an hour of ranting about so and so, and then like 10 minutes of, you know, the case, and it's like, all right, I'll see y'all later, and I'm like, what was that, you know, like like you
don't see that shit here though, do you?
No, not
Exactly.
not at all. And yeah, I listen, and that's what I listen for. I listen for stuff that might spark my interest, and maybe it jogs something loose. And I think what I want to try to do is go back from the very beginning and try to listen to everything I can, look at everything I can, and, you know, because I feel like something's there, and who knows? Doug said that once we find out who it is, we're gonna have to go back through every single thing we've ever looked at, or every tip we've ever had
to prove that it was them.
Yeah.
Yep. He's like, what? He's like, we haven't even started yet. He's like, we haven't even started the start. You know what I mean?
And who knows? They very well could be doing that right now. I wish to God that they would come out with a new press conference or something just to clear up something.
Even if it's just this would be my ideal presser. Okay, everybody that knows anything about the case, investigative wise, comes out there. All the media people, law enforcement, FBI, the people that actually know the information, right? And they don't say anything. All they do is answer questions for 1 hour.
Yeah. I think that's the next step, because and I could see certain ones them still not answering, you know. But
clarification is really what I'm looking for in all of that.
Yeah, because Doug's even said, like, there was an interview where I think it's the last one he's done, the one where he says, like, oh, he's watching, you know. I don't know if you remember which one. I think it came out earlier this year,
2022. Yeah.
He asked him a question about something. He's like, oh, well, I'm not going to go into that, but he already had previously gone into that a couple years ago, and the guy had asked and was following up on the question,
Yeah, there was stuff he wasn't touching on in 2022 that he just was kind of bragging about in 2019 in that presser.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not going to go into that, he said.
yeah,
He said it wouldn't be proper.
yeah, and so like and I know some people look at Doug as weird or something, or like some people don't like Doug, but I
Well, he's twitchy.
yeah, he is, and I but something about him, I really believe that he has his heart in the right place, though.
Yeah, I think he's twitchy because he's like trying to grab somebody.
Yeah, yeah, and the thing with in the 2019 where he keeps glaring in the back right, I feel like he's glaring at.
Wait, hold that thought. Hold that thought, Josh. I got
Okay.
a super chat here.
All right.
It says here, gun to your head, your life on the line. You have to guess who did it of all of the POIs. What's your name?
That for me or for you?
Well, I think both of us would answer the same, honestly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But nothing we can do about that, or anything I can do about it. You plan to do something.
Yeah.
I hope that you do. I hope you have success.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like I was looking through stuff and putting pieces together, and like I was telling you before you went live, I think this is where my friends and stuff kind of look at me funny, because I'm going through stuff and it all makes sense. And whenever I go to tell it, I'm just like, this girl's murdered at the bridge, and he's wearing gray sweatpants, and he's got a starter cap in this picture, and da da da. And they're like, what? They can't follow what I'm saying because of all the info. I'm bouncing around all over the place. But like, I don't know what it is. I think it's a feeling I got like in my soul on the stuff I was looking at and putting everything together.
Oh, it's there, man. It's
Like
the same way your conscience is there when you're about to do something you shouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
That's how
Yeah.
that name is there.
Yeah. I genuinely, I ain't gonna lie, I genuinely cried. Like I cried because I was like, oh my God, like I've been working hard on it, and I feel like, just like you submitted a tip, or tips, I have, and I feel like that, I've done all I can do, but I'm not gonna stop. But there's a certain feeling that I have that I feel like I got, that like he said, gun to your head. I feel like that I figured it out, and I may not have all the answers to every little piece of anything, but I definitely have.
No, he's saying like you may not be 100% sure.
Yeah.
But there's a gun to your head. What's your answer?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When there's a gun to your head, it doesn't have to be factual. What's your educated guess?
Yeah. Exactly. And yeah, I think me and you would be in the same boat on that one. But yeah, like I genuinely I shed tears, because I feel like I did something right, and felt like I figured it out, and I'm just waiting on the ones that can do something to close it. And I really hope that another year don't roll around. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and if it does, that's fine, as long as it's for good reason.
Yeah. And let's just say, if they know who it is, and they just for some reason, maybe it's something simple as the DNA being tainted, like you was talking about bleach or something. I've heard of a clear liquid too, being used. They may have every single thing they can have except maybe fingerprints, and putting them right there at where they died, you know, and that might be what a defense attorney, a good one, will eat someone alive over, you know. And
Yeah, they need somebody to say, yeah, I helped this person get rid of their clothes, or I helped them dispose of evidence, or I have key information. This
yeah,
is what the courtroom needs. It's not about what we need. What we're trying to do is find something that would be good for the courtroom.
mm-hmm.
But nothing would be better than them pointing across that courtroom from the witness stand at the killer.
Yeah,
Like
that would be very.
that's that son of a bitch right there. He brought the bloody clothes here. He stole the login information from Keegan Klein over here,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a sick son of a bitch. That's him right here. I'm pointing right at him.
Exactly. And I have a thought too that, you know, just per se, let's say he by chance, you know, is really good at, you know, like hacking, for instance. Maybe like what if old buddy hacked his stuff, seen all the stuff that he has, and was like, oh my god, this dude's a pedophile, and then used that. And like maybe it was just a pass, and like they
Well,
knew each other.
what if you didn't have to hack the Anthony Shots account? Let's say Keegan Klein was communicating with Libby saying, yeah, let's meet up here, let's meet up there.
Mm-hmm.
But he never really meant to. But now let's say somebody hacked Libby's account and was able to view this conversation. This could be out of jealousy, or this could be out of some type of cyber stalking. And the only reason I say that is because we know recently that Kelsey mentioned that somebody, and she said it wasn't a big deal. And I don't think it was a big deal.
Yeah.
I think that it would just happen to be easy to hack Libby's account.
Yeah. I think certain especially if it's somebody that knows what they're doing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
so why not cyber stalk that way, or why not verify location that way? You wouldn't even have to even really be near the bridge at that time. You could just log into her account and read all the private messages. Like there could be some with Anthony Schott saying, oh, I'm going to meet you at the high bridge. Okay. The killer's like, oh, you're going to meet this guy? You know, well, I happen to know this guy is who this guy is, and he's not going to meet you, but I will.
Is there any? I've heard back and forth whether it's verified or not. Did Libby have to reset her phone like a week before?
I don't know factually, but the consensus is yes. Right around the time that she supposedly met Anthony Shots,
Mm-hmm.
and this would have been Kagan. I think he even admits to this portion.
Mm-hmm.
Not that he spoke to Liberty directly, but he was speaking with her friend, and it was the friend that introduced Liberty to Anthony Shots. And that seems to be the specific part that Kagan Klein remembers, which is also strange. Now, is he lying about that, or is he being honest? Like, no, like I admit, I talked to her, and maybe this is where the actual killer took over or went further.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot, man. They said, here's what I don't understand. They said early on they felt like they would have solved it like within a week, or a week or so, and I wonder what changed. Like,
well, they said they were on to something early on, but they're still hopeful about that. They're hoping that they can come back to that and say, yeah, we were onto something early on. So what's early on? Anthony Shots was early on.
Yeah. And that's exactly right. That is exactly right. And
hold on, Just Wiley, Sleuth's Intuition, you didn't give a name. Is it friend one? What is in regards to what?
Oh, the JP for the, I guess the.
Oh yes, we're talking about Julian Powell, a person that I interviewed and who was I don't know if he was essentially cleared by law enforcement, but he was looked at. They looked at him, and if there's any interest there, that's up to them. But it doesn't appear so. So, I mean, just like all the people that were interviewed around the time of the crime, who are probably still being interviewed to this day and cleared, he's just one of those many people.
Yeah, sorry about that. I seen that. I know somebody had put a super chat in and asked us, and I know we never said it. I guess if somebody was new popping in, they wouldn't know who he was talking about. So I'm sorry the other guy had to do a donation to for us to clarify. But I know I've been saying I'm gonna hop off here now forever, but I'm gonna hop off of here, and I had a blast talking to you, and I appreciate it. I hopped on here with a whim that I'd be able to talk to you, and then got to talk to you for a while. So I really appreciate bouncing stuff off of you, and we'll have to do it again soon.
Yeah, pleasure was all mine, Josh. Shoot me an email if you have anything further on what we've already talked about. Maybe we can do it again.
Okay. All right, boss man. Will you take it easy?
All right. Take care. Thanks again.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Your mark.
Every stroke.
I always ask her for good luck.
Every breath.
This is like my second home.
Every moment in the pool. There are waves of emotions.
I think it makes me feel like she's here, and it's like she's part of my life still, and she's still living as much as I'm living. As long as I'm here, she's here.
Kelsey German has been swimming since middle school. The senior was looking forward to competing against her sister, the freshman. Libby has set her sights on joining the Delphi Oracle swim team. It was among the many things she had planned to do in high school. Her death changed everything, and Kelsey found herself at a turning point.
This year, it's been a year about Libby, so I just kind of I've been doing everything I can to make Libby proud and kind of living the life she deserves to live.
Kelsey found her sister's goggles.
I need a new pair. Why buy some when I could just have another piece of Libby with me in the pool?
And also decided that this year she would swim in the events that Libby would have competed in, including the 200 and 500 free relays.
It's really tough because I'm a sprinter. I don't do distance, so it's like trying to start over completely. It was definitely more important to me to swim hers. I'd rather swim for her than for myself.
The heart and determination of an individual to do that is just out of this world. It's just out of this world.
And if there are ever any doubts, she can look to the banner inside the Delphi High School pool facility, honoring Libby's commitment to swimming.
I look up to it when I go off the blocks because I am not the best starter. And I want her to be there with me when I start, and I want her to help me get better. The fact that that poster's there helps me through every single practice and meet that we have here.
Event number 5, girls.
In a competitive sport where every second matters, the clock never slows, nor does the stride of the girl chasing a win for her team while reaching out to the sister who dreamed of these days.
We were best friends, and she was part of the best part of my life.
A sister's love. Kelsey's swimming season ended 2 weeks ago. Her coach texted me tonight letting me know that she finished her senior year with her personal best in the pool. And this young lady was most recently honored as homecoming queen, Erica, during basketball season, and just won a school essay contest for her story on her sister Libby. After graduation, she's considering a couple of colleges in Indiana. Her future seems very bright. In fact, she's also considering possibly a job in communications.
Oh.
And based on her skills and her strength, I would say that we would be in good hands if one day she would be here on the anchor desk.
Absolutely. Thanks for bringing us these stories, Raphael.
Shout out to Raphael. Yep, Deb says Anthony Shots was a few days after the murders. Yep, incident report was on the 20th of February. Keegan Klein was raided on the 25th. What's up, Big Fish? Hey, what's up, Adam?
From Indiana's news leader, Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock starts now.
And we're getting our first look tonight at the remote area where two 13-year-old girls were found murdered. This comes as tips are flooding into the police station for who could be behind the killings of Libby German and Abby Williams. Police are now questioning people about the case just hours after putting out an image of a man that they said they wanted to talk to.
This man was on the same trail around the same time as the 13-year-olds before they went missing. Police say he isn't a suspect, but someone they want to talk to hopefully get more information about what happened to Libby and Abby.
And police are moving fast on leads. Eyewitness News reporter Rich Van Wyk spoke with one of the people questioned by police today, and he joins us now from near the crime scene. Rich?
John, at the crime scene today, we learned just how difficult it was for the killer and their victims to get to this remote area. It's steep, it's treacherous, it's difficult. We also learned more about why police want to talk specifically to one man who was in the same area as these girls roughly about the time they disappeared. The crime scene is serene and isolated. Hard to reach, hard to leave, making it almost hard to believe such a horrible crime occurred here.
It's just hard to comprehend as to what's happened.
Ron Logan has owned and roamed these woods for 50 years. Through the trees, he pointed to the now infamous Monon High Bridge.
At the end of the bridge there is where their last photographs were taken.
By Libby of her friend Abby. The Monday afternoon, they disappeared. They were about half a mile away from where searchers found their bodies. It's a half mile of steep hills, high bluffs, and deep ravines.
No, it's not an easy trip. And I'm quite amazed that anybody knows how to get here.
Investigators say they've identified almost everyone in the area when the girls disappeared, except this man, photographed on the same bridge the girls visited. Since releasing the photo, they've received hundreds of tips.
Did he see somebody else that maybe some of the others didn't see? And so we just basically want to talk to him just to see what information he's got for us.
James Lucas says police also asked to speak with him.
It was scary. I never expected it.
So if you can group up like...
Lucas says he was one of the hundreds of searchers. Police asked him a few questions, checked his phone, then let him go.
They said if they needed me later, they would get a hold of me.
All while a community is coming to grips with the horror of what occurred here.
Two young kids playing, thinking they're having a wonderful day, Valentine's Day, and ends up in one of the largest tragedies in Carroll County history.
In your backyard?
In my backyard. Yeah, it's a big thought. Not a good one.
Here's a good thought. Police told me that they believe they are very confident they can solve this case. They're not saying who took that picture of the man on that bridge. They are saying, though, they've received more than 200 tips so far as to who he might be. They're checking them out.
That's all right. That's good, Rich. Thank you. If you see something, police want to hear from you. We want to let you know that a new tip line number has been sent out, and police say they want all calls on this case to go to this number. So if you were out there the day the girls disappeared, if you know who the man in the image that they've released is, anything you might know that could help solve the case, please call the number. It's 1-844 459-5786. You can rename anonymous if you wish to, and all information will be taken and followed up by officers who are working that case around the clock.
Police.
What's up, Curly? What's up, D? Public art critic. And Vroom. The key evidence is from the scene where the girls were found. And we out here in the public know absolutely nothing about that, really. That is true. That'll be most likely the information that gets this guy convicted or confirmed as the person. No, just one moment. Justin. Justin, can you hear me?
Yep. Hello.
Yes, you are live. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
I wanted to come on and just brainstorm a little bit.
Sure.
But I wanted to ask you, so do you agree that we can kind of limit this down to whoever did this? There is definitely a connection to KK. Like it's not going to be, I think it's not going to be some other random POI that has no connection to that.
Well, circumstantial evidence does happen in cases that are extremely rare, so it's possible, but it's not likely. Whoever did this is most likely tied to Keegan Kline based on the information that we have right now.
Okay, cool. Because that just helps me take a lot of POIs off the table, right? If we can confirm they don't know Keegan, there's no connection. And it kind of helps me limit it down a little bit. And then my mind just kind of goes to like, it's either the dad or I think it's just some guy who was really smart about remaining anonymous and just having this kind of it's like he was in contact with Keegan, but Keegan didn't know the identity of the person. And perhaps I've always speculated that maybe Keegan was making side money doing some grooming stuff,
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where, I don't know, I've just been following this case for months, and this is kind of where I've landed since that transcript came out.
Well, think about it. Something's going on. You got a Vegas trip. You have the day before the Vegas trip, you have a ski mask incident that involves somebody that introduced Libby to Anthony Shots. The incident included somebody claiming to be Anthony Shots just before they went to Vegas. Okay, so why commit a murder, stalk a potential witness, and then the following day go to Vegas? And then in Keegan Kline's interview transcript, he kind of asks law enforcement, like, you guys saw that I was meeting somebody there, right? The guy that I met from Craigslist.
Right. Is that friend one?
Who?
The Craigslist person?
No. This is an unidentified person.
Okay. Okay, I didn't know that part. So there's so that would kind of fall into where I'm going with it, is that there's this unidentified person that he was talking to, right?
Mm-hmm. And that he said that he was reaching out to this person on behalf of his drug dealer friend.
Okay. Okay. The drug dealer friend is friend one.
No, drug dealer friend is like friend. Who knows?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think if 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 the person who did it is like the unidentified person who was just like very smart at convincing
Well, let me
Keegan.
run this theory by you. Keegan comes up to this guy and says, "Yeah, I'm catfishing these girls, and there's no way that they can be connected to me. They don't know who I am. They don't know. They absolutely are clueless, and they're in love with me." Okay, and the killer says, "Well, we can use this to our benefit. If we can lure these girls to a location and kill them on film, we have potential to make a shit ton of money. You don't have to be involved, but what I need you to do is get them to this location, and then we'll go ahead and take care of the rest. But when we're done, I need you to go to Vegas and try to sell this product."
Yeah, that's very plausible for sure. Yeah.
Just a thought. Just a
Yeah.
theory.
Yeah, I guess the thing that worries me is like if this is what it is, I think it's very hard to solve the case like
Yeah, because it's almost like you would have to plan it out. Okay, if my goal is to go for you to, if you're going to play your part and lure the girls to this location, and my part is to commit the murder and potentially film or whatever, they make it seem like in the Ron Logan affidavit that there was some filming and staging, and there was some reason that they might be filming, and then Vegas kind of makes you think that for some reason. I'm not sure. So if somebody's going to plan something like that out, they're going to take into consideration, how can I cover my tracks, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And if it's not the first time they've done it, they might have it down pat, right?
Or they plan to be successful in their first try.
Yeah.
And not everybody's a stumbling, muttering prick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's just like that's I sit and brainstorm about it all the time. I kind of land in this area by the time I'm done brainstorming of like I think it was just somebody who used Keegan and they were very smart at keeping their identity out of it. And then I get bummed out because I'm like, oh well, the case will never be solved because we're effectively chasing a ghost at this point.
Mhm. That's hindsight also. So this is where the psychology comes into it. So if, okay, we know a lot of the facts of the case. In hindsight, we say, okay, what if somebody used Keegan Kline as a patsy? Okay, it's easy to say that in hindsight. Okay, now what would put you in the mindset prior to the crime ever happening to say, okay, I'm going to use Keegan Kline as my patsy, and then I'm going to commit the murder? What type of person would do something like that? Smart person.
Yeah. 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 Well, yeah, it's crazy. But anyway, I wanted to come on and just share that. I won't take up too much time. But yeah. Love the channel. Been following it for a while and keep up the great work, man.
Hey, I really appreciate it. Great call. I think we're going to end it on that note. Can I close out the stream with you here?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Justin, any last words?
Let's see. Nah. Hope everybody in the chat's doing good. Hope you're doing good. It's a crazy world out there, and we're all doing our best. So everybody just be kind to yourselves.
Couldn't have said it better. All right, brother. Justin, thank you for the call. Everybody that participated, everybody that called in today, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks again, Justin.
Yeah, you're welcome. Cheers.
Cheers.